Good morning, John. It's a lovely morning.
Good morning.
And I've been drawn to your beautiful racing MG.
Thank you.
Can you tell me a bit about it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a 1931 C-type Montlhery Midget. It's one of 44 made. So EX120 was the first record-breaking MG that was set up. It was built up by the works, but also engine work by Jimmy Palms, driven by George Easton at Montlhery. And it was the first car to break, the 750cc car, to break that magic 100-mile-an-hour barrier and beat Austin. And it was a huge deal. And so very quickly they put these together, which were what we would now call a homologation variant, really. It was a 750cc. Some of them were supercharged. This one is now supercharged, but it wasn't in period. This one was actually bought by George Easton and Jimmy Palms for their company, Jarvis Jarvis and Sons of Wimbledon. And originally it was a bare chassis, and they put their own 2x2 body on it, which was lost, unfortunately. But this one has a factory racing body on it. Last weekend it was back at Montlhery, and there were 4 Montlhery Midgets. I was going out on track around the banking with there were like 18 Bugattis. But really fascinating was we parked up, and then the C-type that was next to us was the original chassis that used to have this body.
Oh.
So between the two of them, nearly 100 years apart, it's almost kind of back together again. But it's a fantastic little car. Road registered, has been since new, as most of them were, but loads of them were raced here. Back in 1931, when they first pulled them out, they were brought out of the paddock here in a procession, all the different ones, and they were given over to their owners at Brooklands. And some fascinating names, Goldie Gardner. I wrote the autobiography, the biography of Goldie Gardner. So he had one of these. He raced it in the Ards TT. He raced it here, and the Duke of Richmond, who his ancestor now runs Goodwood, or the Goodwood dynasty, and he raced 3 of these against 3 of these in the Yards, the RACTT in Ulster, and they're absolutely amazing little cars. They are very powerful, given the engine. It's got a 4-speed crash ENV gearbox. You can see inside it's got fly-off hand lever, handbrake. It's even got brake bias, so you can adjust the brakes in actually in the cockpit. This one was this one was rebuilt back in 2016, so it's put back together again. It'd been in bits for quite a long time, and the previous owner raced it. So it's raced at Silverstone, Brands, Zandvoort. I've had it, as I say, last week at Montlhery. It's fantastic. It's at 2 bank circuits within a week, which is extraordinary. And I'm hoping on the 7th I've got a track day at Goodwood for for a military charity, and then I've got some other plans over the summer for it. So it's very well used, and it's just a lovely little car.
How long have you had it on the road?
I've only had it just over a year.
Okay.
But I've got another old MG. I've got a 1946 MGTC, which was owned by Goldie Gardner, which is another fascinating car. And then I saw this up for sale last year, and I just thought, I'll never get another opportunity to get a real one. And I've spent the winter kind of fettling it, like little things, bringing it back up to scratch. I mean, it had been raced hard, and it just needed a little bit of TLC, but it's what I'm really passionate about is keeping the reality and the patina in these.
Yeah.
This is original. It's never been replated. I've got photographs of it going all the way back to when it was new, and it's great. And I've been through the whole engine. It's still got all the original bits. So this is this was a scuttle oil tank, because they use so much oil, especially into the Power Plus superchargers, which they had first. and that just constant feed into the engine. That isn't used anymore, but original magnesium sumps, everything. So it's a really phenomenal little car, and it held its own against some Bugattis on track last week. So, yeah.
Is the colour an original style of colour?
I have been told by the previous owner he chose it as an original colour. I don't know, but the other reason he's been very fortunate because his father bought very well very early, so he had 3 of these, and he's got a green one, which is a very special one, and he's got a dark blue one, and then this was the 3rd one, and he painted it so it looked different to the others. But yeah, I saw another C-type replica the other day, which was identical colour, owned by a French guy.
Yeah. Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
in so many ways.
It's a brilliant car. And it's a bit more tricky to drive than the TC. That's why I didn't drive it today. I drove the TC. But I've got a 21-year-old son. He loves it, and he's driven it a little bit. Although on the roads, insurance is tricky. But yeah, it's a really, really special car. Right, let's hope it starts after all that. You might want to give them heavy stuff. I had a problem with one of the fuel pumps last week. There she goes.